Hello friends, welcome to Learners Forum. Now let us see the next topic, which is voltage sources in series connection. So we will have two different cases. In first case, let us consider there are two voltage sources V1 and V2 with the same polarity. So whenever we have circuit in this way, like we have two voltage sources connected with same polarity in this way, then this can be replaced as a single voltage source adding the values of V1 and V2. So in the converted circuit, we can write the minimized value as V1 plus V2 as a single voltage source together. Similarly, we can have the other option where the polarities are changed in this way. In this connection, V1 and V2 will have the negative polarities, but both are same. Whenever we have this kind of connection, again this can be replaced as V1 plus V2, but the sign is alone changed over here. That is, whenever we have voltage sources with same polarities, then the equivalent circuit will just have the sum of voltage values. So this is the first case. Now let us see it for the second case. Here we have two different voltages, but the polarities are changed over here. As you can see, here it is plus minus, here it is minus plus. So this is the different polarity. Whenever we have circuit in this way, then this can be replaced with a single voltage source like plus or minus, and the value will be equivalent to V1 minus V2, that is the difference of voltages, provided the value of V1 should be greater than V2. Else we can have the other option where again we have different polarities, but the equivalent voltage will be minus plus, that is V2 minus V1 whenever we have the value of V2 as greater than V1. So for different polarities, the equivalent value will be difference of voltages. And in this condition, the polarity will depend on the greater of two sources. So whenever we have two sources, the greatest of the two sources will decide the polarity for the equivalent circuit. Now let us see when the voltage sources are connected in parallel. So here V1 and V2 are connected in parallel connection. So the equivalent circuit can be replaced like with a single voltage source where V1 and V2 will be equal. That is, when voltage sources are connected in parallel, the voltage provided by the each source will be equal. So this condition has to be remembered. So in series connection, it depends on the polarity, whereas in parallel connection it will have the equal source voltage. Similarly, let us consider for the current sources. So whenever it is connected in series will be the first case. So we have two different current sources here, I1 and I2, and they are connected in a series connection. So this can be equally represented like with a single current source where I1 value is equal to I2. So whenever current sources are connected in series, the current provided by the each source, that is I1 and I2, will be equal. So here in series connection we will have equivalent source current. Now let us see it for the parallel connection. So in parallel connection we have two different cases. Under the first case, when I1 and I2 are considered in this way like parallel connection, again the direction remains the same. So same direction and two current sources in parallel connection means it can be replaced with the equivalent circuit having a current source whose value is just the sum of two currents I1 and I2, which is I1 plus I2. Similarly, if we have it in the opposite sign, that is when I1 and I2 flows in opposite direction, then the value again will be I1 plus I2, but the direction alone will be changing. So when we have same polarities for both the sources, then the equivalent value will be just the sum of two current sources. So the second case is, again we have two different current sources, but the direction is getting changed over here. So I1 is flowing in one direction and I2 is flowing in other direction. In this condition, the equivalent circuit will have the value as I1 minus I2 whenever the I1 value is greater than I2, and the current of I1 direction will be maintained for this equivalent circuit also. And in opposite way, if I1 and I2 is in different direction, Again, the value may be equal to I2 minus I1 when the I2 value is greater than I1. So in this condition, the direction of I2 will be taken for the equivalent circuit. So whenever we have different polarity, the value will be the difference of two current sources. Again, the polarity or the direction will be depending on the value of two sources, whichever is greater.